Okay, so we're going to get started. So a very warm welcome to everybody. My name is Claire Mcfaul and I am absolutely delighted to be with you this evening to celebrate the official launch of the Women in Banking and Finance Network in Belfast. So the purpose of tonight's session is to really share with you some of the wonderful support and benefits that you can gain from the network. So whether you're joining us as an individual member, whether your company's a member, or you're joining us as a guest this evening, we hope that we will really pique your interest and show you the benefits that you can get from Women in Banking and Finance in Belfast. I'm joined this evening by the rest of my Belfast board, and you'll have an opportunity to hear from the board throughout the event this evening. I'm also delighted to welcome our guest speakers, Sally Mcfaul, who is Director of Mentoring and Development, Liz Hughes, who is Director of Thought Leadership, and Natalie Gill, our Director of Membership Services. But before I talk through the topics for this evening, I want to say a few words about the network in general. So Women in Banking and Finance, or as we're affectionately known, WIBF, is the longest running gender diversity network in the UK. We're a not-for-profit organisation and we are run by members for members. And as it says on the slide, we really aim to connect, challenge and inspire women to be the best that they can be, to really achieve their true potential through a range of networking events, leadership development programmes and opportunities. And in doing so, we aim to bring a gender lens to the UK financial services industry. If we can move to the next slide, I just want to show you this one in particular, because this is the one we're probably most proud of. So Women in Banking and Finance is right across the UK, as you can see, but this is the very first branch in Northern Ireland. So we really are delighted to be with you this evening and to bring the network, which has such a long heritage and so well established, to bring it to Belfast. Our core values, the Women in Banking and Finance core values, are around volunteering, inspiring others, taking action and being independent. And those values really complement what the Women in Banking and Finance Belfast values are, which are about being passionate, being inclusive for everyone, being invested and being professional. So we hope that our Women in Banking and Finance network in Belfast will create a space for local people to connect with each other, to really challenge each other, to inspire each other, to have fun, to share experiences, to learn from each other, and in doing so, really help each of us to be the best that we can be. That's why all of our board work and live in Belfast or Northern Ireland, because we understand some of the challenges that can come from working in financial services in Northern Ireland. So as you can see on the slide, Women in Banking and Finance offer a range of support and development to its members. At launch, we're going to focus on two key areas, the first being mentoring, which my fellow board members Hannah and Megan are going to lead for Belfast. Our development programme through Personal Excellence programme, which is going to be led by Una, who's another board member from Belfast, and then Thought Leadership, which I'm going to lead on behalf of the WIBF branch in Belfast. So we've really decided to, in our presentation and our launch event this evening, to really focus on those three key areas of mentoring, personal excellence and thought leadership, so that you can really see the benefits that the network can deliver to you. But I should point out that in the virtual world, all of these events are virtual, so you're able to attend any event across the whole of the network. There really is an opportunity to make the most of that and to really take advantage of all of the different training and development programs that are in place, irrespective of location. We would welcome, thank you for all the chat, it's great to see where everybody is from, but we really would welcome your feedback and your questions as we move through the event this evening. Please don't wait till the end. So if you've got feedback or you've got commentary or you've got questions, please just pop them in the chat function and we will try to answer as many of those questions as we go through the course of the evening. So I would now like to hand you over to my fellow board member, Una Rooney, who's going to introduce herself and some of our guest speakers who you'll be hearing from this evening. So sit back and enjoy the presentation and hope you get the most out of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire, and good evening, everyone. As Claire has said, my name is Una Rooney and I am delighted to be heading up the Personal Excellence programme within the Belfast branch. I also have the great pleasure of introducing our guest speakers this evening. So as a reminder, as Claire has just said, please do feel free to add any questions that you have, and we'll make sure to put them to our guest speakers as and when they come in. So we're joined now by our first guest speaker of the night, Sally Mcfaul. Sally joined Women in Banking and Finance in 2014, and since joining has been hugely successful, having held several roles from Director of Corporate Relations, Director of Awards, and most recently, Director of Mentoring and Development. With over 25 years of experience helping businesses to hire key talent for their organisations, Sally also runs her own recruitment consultancy, specialising in financial services for change, technology and digital recruitment within the Scottish market. So I'd now love to pass over to you, Sally. Sally is going to be talking to you this evening about mentoring and development.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that introduction. And do you know, it's a complete honour to be invited to speak at your event this evening. And I'm just so delighted that, you know, we're in this position where we have got a Belfast branch. And it's just incredible that there are so many people that are here with us tonight to share in this. So thank you all so much for attending. So so my name is Sally Mcfaul, and last year I was given the opportunity to look at our mentoring and development programme, and I thought it was really important for our members in terms of what we offer them and what they were looking for. So our mentoring programme has been going for many years, but it just wanted a little refresh, should we say. So I entered into lots of conversations with individual members and also our corporates to see what could we do and how could we add value. So from the research that we did, a lot of what we came around was around 4 different pillars. So those pillars are career development, conflict management, personal brand and networking, and people management. So as part of your WIBF membership, you are able to sign up for a mentor at any month of your time that you're with us. And within that, you will then go through to a 6-month mentoring program. And what that means is you can pick any of those 4 pillars that you feel that you need help with. And what we will then do is we will then connect you to a mentor from a different organisation where you can have a very confidential conversation with them about what is on your mind and what you want them to help, you know, what you want help with. One of the areas that I sort of stress to people when going into the mentoring program is have clear goals. What do you want to get out of it? You know, if we're going to look at the end of the program in 6 months, how are you going to be able to say, this was a real success? You know, I've really got a lot out of it. We have got some incredible mentors that have, you know, been really enthusiastic and keen to be involved. So I would highly recommend you taking advantage of that and about their network. So yes, 6 months, and it will be an hour a month, but it's up to you as the mentee to push that relationship. But we will help you, and we will give you a framework in terms of what to consider, how to look at it, and help you through the process wherever you need to be. And Una, she's going to be looking on the PEP programme, but I've actually got 2 people from the board helping me with the mentoring, which is fantastic. So that is both Hannah and Megan, and they're also here to hear your views and your feedback in terms of what you want. So that is a sort of a whistle-top tour of our mentoring programme. And then if I can move to the next slide and move into our personal excellence programme. So the Personal Excellence Programme is specific events that we run that coincide with mentoring. So what we do is we try and put a programme out at least 6 months in advance so that you can have a look at the events. You can, you know, sign up, put them in your diary already on that side. But one of the things that Claire very kindly sort of mentioned as well, all of the events are recorded. So if you sign up for an event and you get pulled away and have to do something else, then a recording will be sent to you afterwards so that you can watch it at your leisure. But we would love to see you obviously at those events. So the Personal Excellence Programme, it links in very closely with mentoring and around the 4 pillars that we have. So just to reiterate those, so it's career development, conflict management, personal brand networking, and people management. So I'm completely delighted to say that some of the events that we've got coming up are, we have some LinkedIn lunch learn sessions. So we've been very fortunate to have Ewan from Royal London, who is giving us his expertise within this side. And it's been a sort of a series of events. So the beginners one event has just gone. We've got the next one, which is on the 31st of March, and that's an intermediary. And then we have the advanced session on the 13th of April. For me, when I speak to people, a lot of people say, how can I project my personal brand on LinkedIn? What can I do? And the one thing that's great about these events is no question is a stupid question. So you can ask away. We're here to absolutely help you through and guide you through this. I think in the current climate, there is a bit of a spotlight around mental health, and we have a talk on the 31st of March in the evening by an incredibly inspiring lady, Susan Townsend from Aegon, and very senior lady. And it just so happened that during her journey, her work life and her home life collided at the same time, and she talks about the breakdown that she had, but she does it in the most inspiring way. So I would hugely recommend that. And we also have an event called Belonging with the fabulous Sue Unerman and Catherine Jacobs, who actually wrote the book The Glass Wall. And this is their second book that they've written. And it talks about the importance of men within the working place and how men can be our allies. So hopefully that has given you a flavour in terms of what we can do. But we're constantly wanting to reach out and find out what's going to be of interest to you. So either, you know, reach out to Una or myself, or there's lots of different people, because we genuinely want to hear from you, and we genuinely want to put events on that is going to make a difference for you, and something that is going to be some value in your membership that you're going to keep coming back to us time and time. So hopefully that has given you an overview of sort of what we can provide and help with. But if you have any questions, I'd be delighted to answer any of those.
Sorry, I just realised I was on mute. Apologies. Thank you so much, Sally, for going through a little bit of detail about the programmes, and it's great to hear about all of the events that are coming up as well. So thank you so much for taking the time to walk through that. So next we are joined by Liz Hughes, who is the Director of Thought Leadership here at Women in Banking and Finance. Liz oversees all thought leadership activities. She leads the Women in Banking and Finance Accelerating Change Together research programme, which is the first cross-industry gender lens research programme in financial services, as well as a number of other areas, including hot topics and distinguished speaker programmes, to name just a couple. Liz is a regulatory expert and experienced business leader. She has worked in compliance advisory roles, founded an award-winning financial services compliance consultancy business, and following a career change in 2019, Liz now works for Refinitiv in product engineering. Liz has also been recognised as one of Brunel's top 30 inspirational women and shortlisted for Woman of the Year at the Women in Finance Awards. So Liz, thank you so much for joining us.
After that introduction, I go on mute. I've done it as well. Thanks for having me. I echo Sally's comments. We're absolutely delighted to be launching in Belfast, and I can't wait to work with the team on thought leadership. So I'll give you a quick whistle-stop tour of the programmes that we have that all fall under the thought leadership banner. If we start with Hot Topics is a popular program, and here we explore the financial services ecosystem as opposed to other programs such as mentoring, which are more about how you succeed in that environment. The hot topics are always research led. It's a key theme for us, and we have diverse panels. So we'll bring together academics, industry experts, think tanks, government representatives, and people from outside the industry to give different views on a topic. We like to incorporate breakout rooms so you get opportunities for networking, and also there's always opportunities for Q&A with the panel or the speakers. Importantly, thought leadership is embedded throughout WIBF, so each branch and each pillar take ownership of their own events. And I'm delighted to say that Claire Mcfaul will be leading thought leadership in Belfast. She'll be building key relationships with allies in Belfast, including universities such as Queen's, and really working on the strategy in your area. Some examples of hot topics that we've done over the past year: we had an event at the Hungarian embassy where we looked at women in a tech-driven world. We looked at gender stereotyping from early years to the office, the economic impact of COVID. The Bank of England regularly provides update briefings for us, which are excellent. We had a event on lessons from the Women in Finance Charter with Julia Gillard. She's the former Prime Minister of Australia, and King's College London. There was an event with Tina Fordham. She's the ex-chief global political analyst at Citi. And also we looked at gender from a governance point of view. So we looked at a stewardship angle on that. So they're the types of events that you can expect, and I can tell you that we've got a great lineup for the year coming, and they do throughout the year we update them on the website, so do keep a lookout in the weekly emails that you receive and also online to sign up for those events. One of our other programs is the Distinguished Speakers. So this obviously showcases high profile industry practitioners, academics, people from government. And during the last year, we had Sue Daw. She's a WIBF patron, but she's also head of financial services for Scotland at EY. We had Michael Cole-Fontaine, again, a WIBF patron. They're not all WIBF patrons. He's chairman of AFME and CISI. We've got James Bardrick, he's the UK head at Citi, David Craig, who's the Refinitiv CEO, and so the list goes on. We really do get some great distinguished speakers there. And as the ladies have already said, all the events are online, so if you want to listen to any of those, you can just go into the events archive and find them. We also partner with external conference organizations to raise the WIBF brand, and also importantly help advise them on their leadership, their thought leadership content, and help them curate diverse panels. And as a result, you get access as members to discounted tickets as well. We have a knowledge hub, which is where we collate all the latest gender-related thought leadership content online for you. It's a brilliant resource, so please do use it. And we're currently working on that digital transformation to make it even better, much easier to use. As the ladies have very kindly mentioned, we have the research program, and we launched that to celebrate WIBF's 40th anniversary last year. We launched at the end of 2020. We're in the first year of the research, and it's coming out very soon. It is the UK's first cross-sector research program designed to bring a gender lens to the UK's financial services industry. And I think on the slides you can see our sponsors as well. On this program we partner with Dr. Grace Lorden. She's a professor in behavioural science at the LSE. She's brilliant. Actually, she launches her book Think Big tonight. I think that it's actually at the same time as our event, and I've got it next door ready to read. So if you want a good read, Think Big by Dr. Grace Lorden is one to pick up. So we work with her on the research program, and the Wisdom Council. So the Wisdom Council are a financial services consumer insight and engagement specialist, and they've done a lot of work, not just on the research side, but also they've got a great capability on the AI and social listening side. So they helped a lot with the survey that we carried out at the end of last year. In terms of our sponsors, I mean, you can see they reflect the breadth of WIBF, and they're across industry, which is really important for us. The programme length is 4 years. The first year is focused on addressing the missing middle. So why are people leaving? Why is there a lower percentage of females in senior roles? And really the reason we focused on that was because our past president, Vivian Arts, went round to our corporate members and asked them, what can we do to help? And actually the answer was, well, we've been spending loads of money and we don't seem to be getting anywhere on our own. So by bringing together all these sponsors, we can, in a group, we can work together as a team. And each year comprises of qualitative and quantitative research, resulting in a report with practical interventions. So importantly, we're making it as practical and easy for them as possible. And the idea is that the firms trial these interventions, and there'll be behavioural nudges most likely, and then they feed back to the group, and then working together as a team, we can progress much quicker than we would on our own. So last year, over 2,000 professionals completed the survey. We're now carrying out the qualitative work for the first year report, which is out in June. So keep an eye out for that. And I'm just finalising the launch event, which is very exciting. So I'll be circulating the dates on that soon as well. But some initial findings for you. The survey found that women are significantly more likely to have experienced barriers in their careers than men. So that's 79% versus 58%. And that women and men in this study do not differ in ambition. There is no ambition gap. And they're asking equally for opportunities. However, we still seem to see worse outcomes as women. So we'll explore this all further in the qualitative research, which is being carried out at the moment. We'll also, in the follow-up email to this event, we'll include the part 1 report, so you can have a read of that, and also the link to the London Stock Exchange event where we opened the markets and presented the findings. So you can either read it at your leisure or watch the video. And of course, I have to do a quick plug. There are a few sponsorship opportunities available, so let me know if you want to join the group. The other thought leadership initiatives that we're working on this year, we're building a research community so you can participate in gender-related external and internal research, and we'll launch that probably in H2 this year. And we're also building out a female speakers list to help our members get access to speaking opportunities and also coverage in the press. And again, we'll probably launch that in H2 of this year. So I hope that gives you an idea of what we're doing on the thought leadership side. Does anyone have any questions? Over to you, Una.
Thank you so much, Liz. And my goodness, it sounds like you have been and will be very, very busy in the thought leadership space. My goodness,
Yes.
lots going on there.
I need some help. I need some help from Belfast.
Sounds like it's been busy. Not a question, but we have received some feedback through from Vicky Hassan. Not a question, but seems like a great range of activities. So thank you so much for that, Vicky. And I'm inclined to agree. It's definitely a well-rounded programme, that's for sure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So next up, and our final guest speaker of this evening is Natalie Gill, who is the Director of Membership here at Women in Banking and Finance. Natalie has worked in financial services for 20 years, previously working in organisations such as Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley and Deutsche Bank. With a passion for diversity and inclusion, most recently, Natalie has moved into a senior role at Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation as the EMEA Director of Diversity and Inclusion. Natalie is going to be sharing with you this evening some more detail on both our individual and institutional memberships. So Natalie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Una, and hello to everybody. The one organisation that you didn't mention that has representation here is Santander. So I literally left Santander in October of last year and have moved across to Sumitomo, and it's great to see some of my ex-colleagues on here, and I'm really pleased that everybody is able to join today and hear about women in banking and finance. I just have to say it really made me laugh when we got to that slide with the map of the UK and looking at the different regions we've got, and it still says on there Belfast coming soon. And that's because we've had that ready for so long, for about a year. We've been so excited about getting Belfast to become part of Women in Banking and Finance. And I just realised, Megan and Claire, I need to update that for you so that it says now launched instead of coming soon. So that's my error, and I just made me chuckle when I was looking at it. I've been staring at that screen for so long. So I'm Director of Memberships at Women in Banking and Finance, and I'm relatively new to WIBF. I only joined WIBF myself just over 18 months ago, both as a member and as a volunteer on the management board. And it just made me think, when I was listening to Sally and to Liz talking about all of the opportunities and the access to different events and to mentoring and personal development, really how much this organisation has done for me over the last 18 months. I'm 20 years into my career, but I still need the support and the networks and the advice and the learning that WIBF brings, and it's been invaluable to me over the last 18 months. And when I think about, connecting, challenging and inspiring, it has certainly done all three of those things for me during that time. So I get to do the sort of easy bits, really, in terms of, after following Liz and Sally telling you about all the valuable benefits that you can get from being a member, is, well, how do you actually join? And I guess there are two key ways to think about it. So we welcome individuals to join. You can see here it's £66, including VAT, which is hugely reasonable when you think about all of the different things that you can get involved in. So you can either join yourself as an individual, or it might be that your organisation is either already a member of Women in Banking and Finance as a corporate partner, or indeed that your organisation isn't yet a member but might like to benefit from that. I'm not going to spend time today talking about the benefits for corporate partnership, but if you're not a member, and the next slide will put a picture up of all of the organisations who are currently members, so you can see if your logo is spotted on there. If it's not, and you think actually this is a great opportunity for your organisation to get involved at that level, then please do drop me a line, or drop the operations team a line, or indeed Claire or Megan, and we can set up a meeting to explain it to you. But I think the key point for me really is to say, if you do see your logo on here, it's not £66 a year. It is actually, you get a 10% discount for your organisation being a corporate partner. So by my very poor maths, I think that's £59.40, which is even better. And I think, it's a mechanism not just for your own personal development, but it's a real mechanism. Becoming a partner and an individual member of WIBF is a real mechanism to go back into your organisation and really have learned and frank conversations about gender diversity. We talked about what the value of WIBF is and our mission, and it's not just thinking about our organisations as employers and thinking about our employee population, but it's also thinking more broadly about the products that we design, and are they designed with women in mind? You hear a huge amount at the moment about the gender pension gap, for example. Are we really creating the opportunities for females to really understand and learn about their own financial security as well? So it's much broader than thinking of our own personal development. And so there's real opportunity in your day jobs to take some of this back in and really challenge what your organisation is doing. The other key thing I want to say is, whilst it says women in the title, we are not just for women. I think both Sally and Liz alluded to the importance of bringing men along on this journey, and men as allies for us. And I'm sure all of you have experienced that in your own careers and organisations. So we absolutely welcome male colleagues to become members of WIBF as well. And there's great opportunity for them to get the value of learning, of mentoring, of being a mentee, and all of the other things we do. So just to encourage you as well to take that back into your organisations and really talk to them about it. And particularly, I think recently we've had International Women's Day, and one of the conversations that I was having very frequently with male colleagues in my organisation was, I want to do something, I know I should be doing something, but I'm really not sure what that should be. And this is an opportunity to get involved and to understand and learn a little bit more and take a proactive step to being a true ally of the gender diversity challenge that we're still facing today. I don't think there's anything else for me to say, really, so happy to answer any questions that you've got. Otherwise, hand back to Una and Megan and Claire. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. And now we're going to pass over to one of my fellow board members, Hannah, who's going to introduce the next part of our evening.
Thanks, Anna, and thanks, Natalie, for covering membership for us. Good evening, everyone. I'm Hannah Hiles, and I'm one of your Belfast board members and head of mentoring alongside Megan, who you'll meet shortly. At this point, we'd love to answer your questions, and if you do have a question, can you post it directly in the chat, and we'll try to cover as many as we can in the next few minutes. So we actually have our first question through, and this is posed to the Belfast board members this evening, and that question is, why did you join on my own and needed an avenue to refocus my own personal development? Claire had got in touch with me and told me about all things WIBF, and I was hooked, to say the least. The mentoring programme was really unique to me, and that's why I headed up for Belfast now. I just couldn't resist being part of the team to shape it for the future and to see how it evolves. Claire.
Take myself off mute as well. So thank you, Hannah. Can you hear me okay? Can somebody give me a thumbs up? Yeah, perfect. Okay. So the reason that I really, I suppose, said about setting WIBF up in Belfast was I had attended a couple of events over the years. It was about 2 years ago, and I was so impressed with WIBF. I asked the question, why is there not one of these in Belfast? Surely there must be one of these in Belfast. Little did I know that at the very same time, somebody who I had never met, who worked in a different company called Megan O'Hara, was having exactly the same conversations, attending events in London and wondering why in goodness name there wasn't one of these in Belfast. And in true WIBF style, then we got in touch with Jenny Koo, or should I say Jenny Koo got in touch with us, who heads up our regional branches, and connected Megan and I together. That's going back a number of months ago, last September, and we've been working on the branch ever since then. I guess my motivation really, I've spent a bit like Natalie, I spent a bit longer at Santander. I spent 23 years at Santander, and during my time there, I was so fortunate to meet and to work with some really impactful female leaders. And there was a real culture of sharing that across the organisation. And having chosen to leave Santander, I actually missed that bit. That bit was missing from other companies I had worked at. And I really felt that I wanted to, I suppose, give back and do what other people had done for me and really share that best practice and create that space for people to connect and learn and inspire from each other. So that was really my purpose for joining. And like the rest of the speakers tonight, I have been thoroughly impressed with any event I've attended at Women in Banking and Finance. It's such a lovely combination of professional but friendly and informal, and creates a real opportunity to learn and develop and grow.
Thanks, Claire. Megan.
Thanks, Hannah. So I've been lucky enough to have been introduced, I think, a few times already this evening, but I should probably introduce myself. My name is Megan O'Hara, and I'm 4th board member in the Belfast board. So Claire, I'm kind of part 2 to Claire's story, I suppose. I first heard about women banking and finance through my boss at the time, who was and still is heavily involved in the network, and actually was one of our former presidents. And when I was over in the London office, she kind of encouraged me to come along to some of the events, and I did, and to be honest, I think I got the bug is probably the best way to put it. I find the speakers really inspirational, and the people that I was meeting at events, they were just kind of so welcoming, and it was just great opportunity for networking as well. So I became a member of the London branch, but I'd always kind of thought, why do we not have women in banking finance in Belfast? And last year, with lockdown looming and I think getting a bit fed up at home, I got in touch with the network to see if there would be an appetite to set up a branch here. Wasn't sure how it would work in the virtual world, but thankfully the organisation has adapted to that very well. So I got put in touch with Claire, and I suppose now here we are.
Thanks, Megan. Una.
Thanks, Hannah. So I suppose my story might be slightly different. I started off in financial services 10 years ago, but at that point I actually had to go to London. I felt really to get the experience in the area that I'm in. And whilst London is a great hub for events and networking opportunities, so whenever I moved back, back home again, I felt like it isn't always as easy to take part in networking events and programs outside of your immediate organization. So I know the company I work for, it's great. We have a lot of internal discussions. There's always a great opportunity to build your confidence and network and do things within your company, but you don't always get that same opportunity. And I don't know how everybody else here feels, but I know when you go on LinkedIn and you sign up and look into different areas that you're interested in and events and conferences, when you click in to see where they are never, or at least in my experience, I haven't seen too many of them in Belfast. They're always very international. So for me, I'd actually been speaking to a colleague in Fintry, and she had introduced me to WIBF last year. And I think within about 3 seconds of looking at the website, I realized that I was sold. There was just so much on offer that I just knew I wanted to take part in. So when the opportunity presented itself to me, it was a no-brainer, I have to say. So yeah, I think for me, it's really just being able to bring that opportunity for not only professional development, but also the personal development of putting yourself out there, getting signed up for networking, mentoring, personal excellence. For me, it just seems to be a great opportunity to branch out and get involved in something that you might not otherwise have had the opportunity to do.
Thank you, Una, and thanks all ladies for answering that question. So we have another question from Jean Grimison. So Jean's question is, hi guys, great to see WIBF launch in Belfast. Does this mean there will be events for just WIBF and Belfast members? I'm really interested in networking. Claire, shall I put this one to you?
Yeah, that's fine, thank you. So no, Jane, delighted for your question. Thank you, great to have your support this evening. Because we are in this COVID virtual world, then it does mean that you can benefit from all of the events that will take place across the WIBF network between now and most likely the end of the year. We are looking at some really Belfast specific events though. I don't want to steal Megan's thunder, but we have a range of exciting events coming up across Belfast between now and the end of the year. The reality is they are most likely to take place virtually until restrictions lead us to such a time that we can do them face to face, but networking is right up there, Jane. So we've actually been considering how we could do the networking through Zoom using the breakout rooms. That works really well. We've considered how we could do a combination of networking with a theme. So maybe taking some interesting themes like imposter syndrome or personal brand and really networking around a subject. Sometimes that can help people feel a little bit more comfortable. We've also got a couple of ideas around speed networking. Not sure how people feel about that. I think that's maybe a mixed one. But we've lots of exciting programs coming up. And the fact that it's WIBF Belfast, you can access all of the events both virtually and when we launch our face-to-face events in the not too distant future, then networking will absolutely be a fundamental part of that. So I hope that answers your question okay.
Thanks, Claire. So we have another question from Jasmine Robinson. So Jasmine's asked, really excited and happy to see WIBF launch in Belfast. Will there be opportunities to volunteer, and what's the best way to get involved?
I know that Hannah's sound is going in and out, so I'll just take over that bit in terms of the best way to get involved. So we said at the beginning that one of the key bits about WIBF is that it is an organisation run by members for members, and we're always looking for volunteers. We welcome volunteers at all stages. The answer, Jasmine, is probably based on how much time you have and how much support you want to give and how much commitment you want to make. The very starting point, or the very first point I would say about volunteering, is you can get involved in many ways that don't require as much commitment as maybe taking up a board position. So the first point would be starting with your own company and promoting any of the network, any of the events that we're running within your local company, getting involved with any diversity networks that your company may be running. And also dipping in and out, you know, we'll always look for, there's a full board in Belfast just now, but we are starting out. We know it will get busier. Tonight's launch event has just been testament to how much appetite there is and interest there is. So we'll never turn any offer of help away. So in the first instance, just connect with one of the 4 of us on LinkedIn, or drop us an email to, I think it's operations@wibf.org.uk, if I've got that right. And they'll be happy to point you in our direction. So hopefully that answers your question, Jasmine. I'm going to take the next one, Hannah. Yeah. So the next question has come in from Camille. Hi, Camille. So this was great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you recommend new joiners to attend lots of events and then consider getting more involved with WIBF, for example, as a board member down the line? Yeah, I really do. And one of the things that maybe we haven't fully covered, or maybe I could reiterate again, one of the great ways of getting involved with WIBF is when you join, is setting yourself up to either volunteer as a mentor or to take the benefit of the mentoring and volunteer as a mentee, so that you can receive the mentoring support that's available. And I think that will give you a rounded view of what WIBF can offer, and attend a couple of different events. You know, I'm going to be working with Liz on the thought leadership piece. They're very different events to the mentoring and to maybe the personal excellence programme that Una will run along with Sally, and the mentoring programme that Hannah and Megan will offer. So the more exposure you get to the organisation, the better. And when the time is right and you feel you've got either ad hoc volunteering that you want to get involved in, or maybe something more formal with more of a time commitment on a weekly basis, we would be more than happy to hear from you. But it's about getting to understand what the organisation is about, and I suppose testing it as well to make sure that it's the right fit for you. Hopefully that answers.
Can I just jump in as well on the volunteering question more broadly? I don't want to steal away from Claire and the immediate needs for the Belfast team, but there is also opportunity if you've got particular skills in particular areas to get involved across the whole of WIBF nationally. So I know, for example, Liz is always looking for people to help run the thought leadership events and the PEP and the distinguished speakers and the research and so on. Sally's absolutely looking for people to look at the PEP programme and the mentoring. But we also have some sort of silent areas, I guess, around. We've got a marketing team, and it doesn't have to be your day job. It might just be something that you're interested in. We've got a communications team. We've got a tech team who are looking at our tech platforms. So there's lots of opportunities. I think if you're interested, then really the first thing is to reach out to Claire and the Belfast board, and they'll help you work out what area you're interested in, and we're always able to find opportunities for people to come and help us work with us.
Yeah, I think I'd just say, if I can, don't sit on your hands. I remember I went to my first PEP event and I sat at the back and I volunteered by the end of the event. I just thought it was brilliant. Everyone was really nice and friendly, and I just felt so at home. And so I volunteered straight away, and then soon there was an opportunity to run the PEP, and I ran the PEP, and then Women on Boards at the time we were running as a programme, and I ran that, and then I helped launch Millennials, as they were called back then, and the alumni, and then I moved into programs more widely across the UK, and then now thought leadership. So I think there's loads of different avenues you can explore, and Sally's also moved around a lot. You'll see she's headed up the awards. She's looked after our institutional members. She's now doing the mentoring and development. So yes, take some time to see what we're about, but don't be afraid to just say, I'd love to get stuck in. Can you find me something to do? Can I help?
Thank you, Liz. Thank you for that. We've just had another question in from Sarah. So Sarah, hi, thanks for joining this evening. So hi everyone, delighted to see the WIBF launch in Belfast and really excited for what is to come. It's great to see so many inspiring ladies with extensive experience within the financial services industry. Having recently joined this industry myself, I would be interested to hear any advice you were given early on in your career that has stuck with you. Hannah, I would love to direct this question to you if you want to see if the sound will allow.
Oh my goodness, you've really caught me on the hop with that one. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay.
Yeah.
So thanks, Sarah. So any advice I was given early on in my career that has stuck with me? So I was told really early on, I was very shy, quite socially awkward, and I know you wouldn't believe it today. But I was basically told by many of my managers, one of which I can see here tonight, Claire Farron, who actually said, be bold, don't be afraid to speak up, keep your head up high and just go for what you want. And I know that sounds really simple, but it is hard for somebody like me who would have found something like this very intimidating. But I really made sure to stick with people that were like-minded, like Claire Farron, like Claire Mcfaul that you've just heard from, and I found some more in Megan, and just made sure that I got involved in as many events like this as I could, and that just built my confidence, it built my network, and I was able to build up my career really, really quickly within my organisation. And now apparently there is no stopping me.
Brilliant. Thank you, Hannah. Sally, would you also give maybe a little bit of an answer around that, please?
I think her screen might have frozen.
Sally. Liz, could I move to you?
Oh yeah, I don't think I was given any advice. I didn't join a network. I thought I could do it all on my own. and I didn't really, my parents had no background in financial services, so I didn't really have a clue what I was doing, but I just kind of got stuck in. And I think it's looking back, at the time I thought I could compete with the men and it was a level playing field, and looking back it wasn't, and I could have done with some help, to be honest. And I think my advice to you would be, don't be afraid to hustle. You need to be looking for opportunities. You need to ask and reach out to senior men and women to help you progress, to unofficially mentor you or sponsor you within an organization. Think about how you network strategically, and that might not feel very comfortable to begin with, but you've really got to look around and see who's going to help you get to where you want to go, and be open to opportunities as they come up. But yeah, definitely ask for help and don't be afraid to hustle.
Thank you, Liz. I would probably finish on that question, Sarah, and I would say, in my experience, anybody I have ever asked to mentor me has always been delighted and thrilled to share their experience. I don't think anybody has ever refused a mentoring opportunity. People see it as a real privilege to have been asked. So reach out, expand your network, ask for that help like Liz has mentioned, and I think you'll probably be pleasantly surprised with the reaction that you get. So go for it. I think there's another question just regarding how the branches work. Was there a question that came in, Una, or Hannah, around how the branches work?
Yes, it simply was just how is the branches working, and I'll put that one to you if you're okay. I know you're on mute.
Every time, there's always one, sorry. So what I was saying is, pre-COVID, you would have attended face-to-face events at your local branch in the Women in Banking Finance organisation, and you would have had the chance to meet and network with like-minded individuals and have the opportunity to basically just attend some really, really great events and sign up for some really exciting programs. So since last year, obviously everything has been a lot different to how things were pre-COVID, but for us, it's actually a really exciting time to join Women in Banking and Finance, because not only will you hopefully at some point have the opportunity to attend face-to-face events with regard to the Belfast branch, but you actually have access to all of the Women in Banking and Finance events virtually by going on the website and signing up for the various events that you can see there. So that means that you have access to several events per month. So it is a really, really exciting time and a great opportunity to get involved.
Thanks so much, Una. So that has it for all of our questions. If any of you have sent a question and we weren't able to answer it for you, we will come back to you via email, or if anybody didn't get a chance to ask a question, just reach out to one of us on LinkedIn. We'll be happy to answer it for you. So at this point, I'm going to hand over to Megan.
Thank you, Hannah. So the final thing that we wanted to talk about tonight is what's coming next for the Belfast branch. Obviously, we're very excited that we've launched, and we're focusing on making plans now for the coming months. And as Sally mentioned earlier, it's really important to us as an organisation that we get feedback from members or potential members in relation to what you want to hear, what type of events you'd like to attend, what you'd be interested in. So Helen, if we can now please go to the poll. We're going to go to a quick poll. We've got some questions of suggested event topics. So workplace stress and mental health, return to the office, caring affairs, imposter syndrome, or financial resilience. So if you could just take a moment and answer which one of those you think would be most interesting to you. The results here is quite interesting. I see the most significant one there is workplace stress and mental health. I think it's quite interesting actually in COVID times that seems to be quite a dominant one that people want to hear about, particularly with lockdown and working from home and so on. And actually I see we've got quite a few on imposter syndrome as well. And that's one that we've talked about quite a bit in relation to rolling out. So definitely one to have a look at, but very, very useful to know. And also, I mean, generally, if you have any suggestions on any events that you would want us to hold, please feel free to get in touch with us. We really want to know the local industry here in Northern Ireland and what people want to hear or interested in. So please don't hesitate to get in touch if you've got any suggestions or ideas. But in terms of what's coming next, we just want to remind you, I know Sally's already mentioned this in more detail, but we want to just remind you of some of the events that we've got planned in the calendar over the next month or so. So the Personal Excellence Programme, you see we've got a few events on the screen there. Sally's already mentioned the LinkedIn Lunch and Learns and the stress event, which will be linked nicely into that mental health theme. And we've got a few other events set up in April as well, Stepping Up with Confidence and Presence and the Government's Eat Well Guide. And in the Personal Excellence Programme, we have a number of additional events on the website. There's a full calendar of events if you want to take a look. But of course, that's one of our 3 key strands that we're rolling out here in Belfast. So just to remind you of what's coming next. Secondly, on the Thought Leadership Programme, the second key area that we're rolling out here at this stage, we have a number of events coming up as well. Actually, there's one tomorrow on modern monetary theory. We've got a few in April, one on managing climate-related financial risks, one on the future of work, and one on the UK's new stewardship code. And the first event we have in May is an entrepreneurial success. And I just want to mention again that with all of these events, if you are a member and you decide to become a member, there's no limit to the amount of events that you can attend. Of course, we're living in a virtual world at the moment, and we hope to have some in-person events in the future. But because we're in the virtual world, you can attend any of the events that any of our branches are hosting. All of our events, as Una has mentioned, are led by different branches. But if you, for example, see an event led by the Edinburgh branch on the website, then if you're a member of the Belfast branch, you're more than welcome to sign up to that. And that's been something that's been very popular with our members over the last year or so. There's no additional fee for paying events. So once you're a member, you're not going to be charged to attend any events. You're able to attend whichever ones and however many ones you want within that price. And of course, we in Belfast Board, as I've already mentioned, we're very excited to start planning our own events. So please do watch this space. Those will be posted on our website if you're interested in joining them. Also, the third strand that we're rolling out, the mentoring, I know Sally has covered this already, but just as a reminder, if something you're interested in, our mentoring scheme is live, it's up and running in Belfast. There's no specific time period that you need to sign up for the mentoring. It runs all year. So if you become a member and you're interested in it, please go ahead and sign up. And finally, just in terms of getting any more details that you want, the details of our website are on the next slide. And it's a really useful resource. You sign up via the website. If you want to sign up for events, you sign up via the website. Or if you want to simply find out a bit more information about the network, then please have a look at the website. Equally, and I think we've mentioned this already, if you've got any questions, please direct them to operations@wibf.org.uk. Or if you prefer, we are very happy, our 4 board members, Hannah, Una, Claire, and myself, to hear from you via LinkedIn. We're all on LinkedIn, and I'm very happy to speak to any of you if you have any further questions. As a general point, we within the Belfast Board would like to thank our guest speakers today, Sally, Liz, and Natalie. We'd also like to give a special thanks to Jenny Koo, who is the head of the regional boards within the network and has been instrumental, I think it's fair to say, in setting us up here. We would also really appreciate, particularly given as this is our first event, our launch event, any feedback that you might have from today's session. So there's a QR code on the screen. I suppose if you're good with technology, or if you prefer, there's also a link to use to provide feedback. Generally, we just want to say thank you very much to everyone who's attended our launch event. We really hope you've enjoyed the session, and we hope to see you again at events in the future, virtually for the short term, but hopefully in the not too distant future, at events in person. So thanks again, and enjoy the rest of your evening.